The boy who looked to the stars. Multi-billionaire, pioneer, real-world Iron Man. Elon Musk is a man whose path and work has taken him, and the whole world for that matter, for a crazy space ride to the future. From banking to environmental protection, from space exploration to new ways of transportation, Musk has made it his mission to leave a mark upon humanity with his constant innovation. But who is Elon Musk? Join us today to find out. The early years. Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa, to May Haldeman, a model and dietitian born in Canada, and Errol Musk, an engineer born in South Africa. He showed fascination for computers from a very young age, saving money to buy a Commodore VIC-20 computer at just 10 and learning to code.
It's a great computer that also plays great games, like this and this.
At age 12, he had created his first video game, a space shooter he sold for $500. Talk about starting young, huh? Like most geniuses, Musk was a shy and awkward child, always struggling to fit in. In 2021, while hosting SNL, Musk revealed he was in the autistic spectrum.
I'm actually making history tonight as the first person with Asperger's to host SNL.
Which would explain the social awkwardness which led him to being bullied by his classmates during his school years. It got so bad and he was beaten so badly, he had to get corrective surgery as an adult to breathe through his nose adequately. It's not all bad, though. According to experts at the Autism Research Center, people with autism or Asperger's tend to be so logical, they won't accept things being how they are just because. Musk himself has said, rather than reasoning by analogy, you boil things down to the most fundamental truths you can imagine, and you reason up from there. This is a good way to figure out if something really makes sense, or if it's just what everybody else is doing. This way of thinking may not have gained him a lot of friends, but it sure would help him stand out as the innovator we know today. Making his way to America. At age 17, he graduated high school, and faced with the possibility of serving in the South African Army, Musk decided to move to Canada. Later in his life, Musk would say, "I don't have an issue with serving in the military per se, but serving in the South African Army suppressing black people just didn't seem like a really good way to spend time." His goal was the United States, but he reasoned that it would be easier to gain access to this country with Canadian documents. So he moved there and lived with relatives from his mother's side, working odd jobs in farms and lumber mills. In Canada, Musk enrolled in Queen's University, and after 2 years, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he would receive his bachelor's degree in economics and physics. Now Musk was in the US, where, as he would say, great things happen. And boy, would he make great things. Founding Zip2. In 1995, Musk was accepted to a PhD program at Stanford University. But just 2 days into the program, he dropped out to start his own company. What would it be called? Zip2. Yeah, we know, not as flashy as SpaceX, but come on, cut the guy some slack, he was just starting out. With his brother Kimball and Greg Corey, Zip2 was started. It was an internet guide for the newspaper industry. Cash-strapped and not being able to pay for both an apartment and an office space, Musk decided to only rent an office, where he would sleep in a futon and shower at the local YMCA. Coding all day, 7 days a week, Musk and company managed to get into lucrative contracts with big newspapers, like the Chicago Tribune and New York Times. And by 1999, the company was sold to Compaq for a cool $307 million, netting Musk $22 million for his 7% share. And at just 28 years old, Elon Musk was now a multi-millionaire. Changing the world of banking. At this point, Musk, not even 30 years old, could have probably retired and lived a life of leisure and luxury until the end of his days. But that's just not his style. So barely a month later, Musk founded X.com. This company intended to be everything a bank was, but online, a concept that would revolutionize the world. In fact, it was one of the first online banks to be federally insured, and within its initial months, had over 200,000 customers. A year later, wary of unnecessary competition, X.com merged with online bank Confinity, and by 2001, noticing that the most popular feature of the site was the online money transfer service, the company focused on that, renaming itself, PayPal. Fast forward one more year, and in 2002, PayPal was acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion in stock, of which Musk, being the largest shareholder with 11.7%, received over $100 million. In a matter of 3 years, Musk had more than tripled his initial wealth. Paving the road to space. Just when it seemed like the sky was the limit for a man like Musk, he wowed just about everyone when he declared his next goal was space. In 2002, Musk, who had always been interested in space and in the necessity for humankind to make its way to the stars in order to survive any possible world-ending event, created Space Exploration Technologies Corp., known as SpaceX. This company's original mission was to create a more affordable way to produce rockets and transportation to space. Investing over $100 million of his own capital, Musk financed this company while facing derision and mockery from experts, and even the famous astronauts he looked up to as a child. But Elon Musk is not a man who quits, and he most certainly isn't a man content with just one mission. He was to change the world, and he was to do it in more ways than one. Revolutionizing the car maker industry. Always hungry for success, Musk heard about a company working on electric cars, and in 2004, he led the Series A round of investment. The company was called Tesla, and Musk, seeing a business opportunity on top of the chance to work on environmentally friendly technology, joined its board of directors as chairman that very year. He took an active role in Tesla and oversaw the production design of its Roadster car. Musk's track record and the sheer innovative ideas at Tesla seemed to indicate a bright future. But not everything would work as intended. Through the Great Recession. It was the year 2008, and Tesla, over budget in their production of the Roadster, heavily indebted and in the midst of a worldwide financial recession, seemed destined for bankruptcy. It got so bad that at one point Musk had to consider financing both Tesla and SpaceX out of his own pocket. It was reported that, with increasingly less capital to use, he had to decide whether to finance Tesla or SpaceX, knowing that choosing one would definitely doom the other, and that choosing both could potentially send him into financial ruin. But Musk stuck to his guns. He decided to keep them both afloat, and in 2008, Musk assumed leadership of Tesla as CEO and product architect. Musk led by example, working long hours. He reportedly said to a friend, "If there was a way that I could not eat so I could work more, I would not eat. I wish there was a way to get nutrients without sitting down for a meal." And all that commitment would pay off. Climbing to greater heights. In 2008, Tesla finalized the Roadster. With sales of about 2,500 vehicles, it was the first serial production all-electric car to use lithium-ion battery cells. Even though the car was so expensive it was only ever going to get bought by the rich and famous, Musk's business strategy was to recoup the profit from the Roadster and reinvest to create a cheaper model, continuing the cycle until Tesla could produce a genuinely affordable electric car anyone could buy. On top of this, Musk's other company, SpaceX, would finally bring him a much-deserved triumph when, after 3 failed launches, the Falcon 1 rocket became the first private liquid-fuel rocket to reach Earth's orbit. As a result of this, NASA gave SpaceX a contract for $1.6 billion for 12 flights of its Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station, replacing the Space Shuttle after its 2011 retirement. Musk's gamble had paid off. Both his companies were afloat, and more than that, they were amongst the most valued companies in the world. Up to the stars. Since its initial public offering in 2010, Tesla's stock has risen significantly. It became the most valuable car maker in the summer of 2020. The subsequent launches of the Model S, Model X, and Model 3 have revolutionized the car maker industry. Meanwhile, SpaceX has managed to develop and innovate in the fields of reusable rockets and space exploration. In 2020, SpaceX launched its first manned flight, the Demo 2, becoming the first private company to place a person into orbit and dock a crewed spacecraft with the ISS. All this, and we haven't even touched on his other ventures, like Solar City, the #2 biggest seller of solar panels in the United States, or the Boring Company, dedicated to reduce the expense of drilling tunnels tenfold, or the Neuralink and the research into AIs. But that is a matter for another video. Elon Musk is a man bearing the mark of success, of an impeccable work ethic, and of an insurmountable intelligence. The secret to his success cannot be reduced to just a quirk in his neural processes. That would be a disservice to the unending work of a man committed to change the world, one innovation at a time.